Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about a movie called Hans Christian Andersen. This is a 1952 movie starring Danny Kaye, and today we're going to take a look at this movie, see what it's about, talk about why it's important. If you've never seen it before, this is your chance to do so. And if you've ever watched it before, we'll talk about why it's worth a rewatch. Let's begin. So let's get started off with the basics. What is this movie about? Well, this movie is a loose retelling of the life of famous Danish author Hans Christian Andersen. The movie begins in the Danish town of Odense. We meet Hans, a poor man who repairs shoes for a living, but also spends his time hanging out at taverns and telling fantastical stories to the local children. He is well loved by the children, but not much by the adults. They think he's a dreamer, not practical at all, and tell him to stop spending his time telling stories and get a real job instead. So after getting in trouble with the town council, Hans decides to move out of Odense and try his luck in Copenhagen. In Copenhagen, Hans continues repairing shoes, but once again starts telling stories to the children, which makes him pretty popular in town. He meets the beautiful ballerina named Dorothy, and he instantly falls in love with her. Eventually, Dorothy becomes the inspiration for one of his greatest stories. But unfortunately, she's already engaged to marry the ballet master. Heartbroken, Hans goes back to Odense, but soon is invited back to Copenhagen by King Oscar VI himself to put on a series of shows based on his stories. With the help of the now famous Doro, Hans revives his stories, turning them into wonderful ballets. These stories go on to delight both children and adults alike. That's a very basic summary of what happens in this film. But really, I feel like there's more to this movie than just what happens, and I feel like that's what makes this movie stand out. This isn't meant to be a biography of Hans Christian Andersen. It's more of a fantasy inspired by his life and his stories. It gives a glimpse into the possible beginnings of some of his most famous tales, but then puts Hans Christian Andersen himself into one of his own fairy tales. That's how this film chooses to honor the legacy of the man himself. But now we need to talk about this film's biggest strength, and that's how absolutely gorgeous it is. This movie is filled with spectacular Technicolor photography that brings the whimsical world of Hans Christian Andersen to life. It's almost as if you're watching one of Andersen's own fairy tales unfold right before your very eyes. And what better way to do that than through the medium of song and dance? This film features some of the most unforgettable musical numbers ever put to film, composed by the great Frank Lesser. From Inchworm to Wonderful Copenhagen to The Ugly Duckling, each song is a masterpiece in its own right. They're not just catchy and beautifully orchestrated, but they also serve to advance the story and deepen our understanding of the characters. The songs really make this film what it is. Another standout aspect of this film is the chemistry between the two leads. Danny Kaye's portrayal of Hans Christian Andersen is both charming and heartbreaking. He perfectly captures the essence of the character, a man who is out of place in his own life, finding solace only in the world of make-believe. His comedic timing is impeccable, and his dance sequences are both graceful and humorous. John Mayer is equally impressive as Doro. Although her role is primarily visual, she captivates the audience with her elegance and poise, particularly in her ballet scenes. The unspoken love between her character and Hans is palpable and adds a layer of depth to the film. Now, no film is without its flaws, and there are a few aspects of this one that could have been better. Some may find the film's sentimentality and idealized version of events a bit over the top. Additionally, the unrequited love story between Hans and Doro, while emotionally resonant, might leave some viewers feeling a bit melancholic. The pacing of the film could also be considered uneven, with some parts feeling rushed and others dragging on a bit too long. Despite these minor flaws, the film's strengths far outweigh its weaknesses. The enduring popularity of the film and its characters is a testament to its power and charm. It's a film that has resonated with audiences for generations and continues to captivate viewers of all ages. The reason this movie continues to be loved by so many people is simple. It's a movie that celebrates the power of imagination and the beauty of storytelling. It reminds us of the importance of holding on to our dreams and embracing the magic that exists in the world around us. This is a classic Hollywood musical, and it embodies the best of the genre, combining memorable music, stunning visuals, and a heartwarming story. The film's message is universal. It's a celebration of the human spirit and our capacity for love, hope, and joy in the face of adversity. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, we have the power to create our own happiness and find beauty in the everyday. One of the things I really like about this film is how it handles its source material. The film is inspired by the life and work of Hans Christian Andersen, but it doesn't attempt to be a faithful biopic. Instead, it takes creative liberties to craft a story that is both entertaining and emotionally resonant. This allows the film to capture the essence of Andersen's work, without being bogged down by the constraints of historical accuracy. This approach pays off in a big way. The film is able to stand on its own merits as a work of fiction, while still paying homage to its source material. Another thing I really appreciate about this film is its visual style. The cinematography is breathtaking, and the production design is top-notch. The film is shot in glorious Technicolor, and the colors are used to create a sense of whimsy and magic. The sets and costumes are equally impressive, and they transport the viewer to another world. The attention to detail is astounding, and it really adds to the film's overall charm. This is a feast for the eyes, and it's one of the things that sets this film apart from others in the genre. And finally, let's talk about the film's legacy. When it was first released, the film received mixed reviews, but over time it has gained a devoted following. It's become a cult classic, and it's beloved by those who appreciate its unique charm. The film's songs are particularly memorable, and they've become staples of the Great American Songbook. The film's enduring popularity is a testament to its quality and its ability to transport audiences to another world. If you've never seen this film before, I highly recommend checking it out. It's a true gem, and it's a film that I think everyone should watch at least once. And if you've seen it before, I encourage you to watch it again. It's a film that gets better with each viewing, and it's one that I think everyone should revisit at least once in their life. I truly love this film because it takes me back to my childhood. Well, that's it for my review of Hans Christian Andersen. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it's inspired you to watch the film. Thank you for listening, and until next time, never stop dreaming. Thank you for watching. God bless.